When you think of London, what's the first image that pops into your head? For many, it's the iconic sight of Buckingham Palace, the Queen's official residence and a symbol of the British monarchy. We see the changing of the guard, the famous balcony appearances. But have you ever wondered how this magnificent building came to be? What if I told you that this grand palace, the heart of a global empire, started as a simple house in a mulberry garden, and that its history is filled with royal drama, extravagant makeovers, and even a few scandals? Today, we're pulling back the velvet curtains to uncover the incredible story of Buckingham Palace. From its surprisingly humble beginnings to the world-famous landmark it is today. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive into the history of one of the most famous homes in the world. Our story begins over 400 years ago, not with a palace, but with a garden. In the early 17th century, King James I had a grand idea. He wanted to start a silk industry in England to compete with France and Italy. So, he planted a huge 4-acre mulberry garden on the site where the palace now stands, hoping to raise silkworms. There was just one tiny problem. He planted the wrong type of mulberry tree. He chose black mulberries, but silkworms only feed on white ones. So, the great silk dream failed before it even started. The garden became a pleasure ground, a popular spot for Londoners to stroll and socialize. A house was eventually built on the land, passing through a few hands before it was purchased by a man with big ambitions, John Sheffield, the Duke of Buckingham. In 1703, the Duke decided the existing house wasn't grand enough for him. He tore it down and built a magnificent new townhouse he proudly named Buckingham House. It was a large, elegant, 3-story brick building, considered one of the finest private homes in London at the time. The Duke was incredibly proud of it. He wrote letters boasting about its beautiful design, its grand courtyards, and its stunning views over St. James's Park. For about 60 years, it remained the private residence of the Dukes of Buckingham. It was a stately home, but it wasn't yet a royal one. That all changed in 1761, when a young king set his sights on it. Enter King George III. He had just married Queen Charlotte, and he was looking for a comfortable family home, a private retreat away from the stuffy, formal atmosphere of St. James's Palace, which was the official royal court back then. He bought Buckingham House for £21,000, a bargain even for that time. He and Queen Charlotte moved in and absolutely loved it. They renamed it the Queen's House. It became their sanctuary. 14 of their 15 children were born there, and the house was filled with the sounds of a large, happy family. While it was a private home, Queen Charlotte hosted many social gatherings, and it quickly became the center of court life, even if unofficially. The king also started building up the incredible royal collection of books, which later formed the core of the British Library. For George III and Charlotte, Buckingham House wasn't a palace, it was home. But their grandson had very different ideas. When George IV ascended the throne in 1820, he was a man known for his extravagant taste and love of all things grand. A comfortable family home simply wouldn't do. He wanted a magnificent palace, a symbol of his power and prestige. So, he hired the famous architect John Nash and gave him a simple instruction: transform Buckingham House into Buckingham Palace. And boy, did they transform it. This is where the building we know today really starts to take shape. Nash took the original brick house, refaced it with beautiful, pale bathstone, and added two huge new wings, creating a U-shaped courtyard. He filled the interiors with lavish decorations, gilded ceilings, and colorful marble. The project was incredibly ambitious and incredibly expensive. The budget spiraled completely out of control. Nash kept adding more and more opulent features, and the king kept approving them. The costs soared from an initial estimate of around £200,000 to over £700,000, an astronomical sum at the time. Parliament was furious, and Nash was eventually fired for his wild overspending. To make matters worse, George IV died in 1830 before the palace was even finished. His brother, William IV, succeeded him, but he hated the place. He thought it was gaudy and uncomfortable. He never moved in, and he even tried to give it away to be used as the new Houses of Parliament after the old ones burned down. For a while, the future of this half-finished, massively expensive palace was in serious doubt. It was seen as a monument to royal excess and a complete waste of public money. The palace's fortunes finally turned in 1837 with the accession of a new, young monarch, Queen Victoria, At just 18 years old, she decided to make Buckingham Palace her official residence, becoming the first sovereign to do so. This single act cemented its status as the home of the British monarchy. But the palace was far from perfect. It was still incomplete, cold, and riddled with problems. Many of the chimneys smoked so badly that the fires had to be put out, leaving the rooms freezing. The ventilation was terrible, and there weren't enough bedrooms for her court or visiting dignitaries. Most importantly, it wasn't a family home. As Victoria married Prince Albert and their family grew, the palace became far too small. They had 9 children, and there was simply no space for nurseries or extra bedrooms for the royal household. So, another major renovation was needed. In the 1840s, Queen Victoria and Prince Albert hired architect Edward Bloor to solve the palace's problems. His solution was brilliant in its simplicity. He enclosed the U-shaped courtyard by building a massive new 4th wing on the east side, facing the mall. And in the center of this new wing, he added the single most famous feature of the entire building, the central balcony. This balcony would become the stage for some of the most iconic moments in British history. From royal weddings to Jubilee celebrations, this renovation finally gave the palace the shape we recognize today. It was no longer just a house or a collection of wings. It was a complete, functioning royal palace, ready to be the center of the vast British Empire. Throughout Victoria's long reign, the palace was the glittering heart of social and political life. But after Prince Albert's death in 1861, a heartbroken Victoria withdrew from public life. She spent most of her time at Windsor Castle or Balmoral, and Buckingham Palace fell quiet, its grand rooms often left empty and dark. It wasn't until the 20th century, under King Edward VII and King George V, that the palace came roaring back to life. They redecorated the interiors in a grand style, installed electricity, and made it the vibrant center of the monarchy once again. In 1913, the famous East Front, the public face of the palace, was refaced with durable Portland stone, giving it the grand, stately appearance it has today. It has survived 2 world wars, including 9 direct bomb hits during the Blitz, and has continued to adapt and evolve with the times. And that brings us to the present day. Buckingham Palace is not just a home for the monarch. It's a working building with over 775 rooms. It serves as the administrative headquarters of the monarchy, hosting state banquets, garden parties, and investiture ceremonies where people are honored for their public service. It houses priceless works of art from the royal collection and is one of the most visited tourist attractions in the world. From a failed silk farm to a duke's townhouse, from a queen's private home to the ultimate symbol of a nation, the story of Buckingham Palace is a story of transformation. It's a building that has been shaped by the personalities, ambitions, and families of the monarchs who have lived there for nearly 200 years. So the next time you see that famous facade on the news or in a movie, remember the incredible journey it has taken. It's more than just stone and mortar. It's a living piece of history, a stage where the story of Britain continues to unfold. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this trip through history, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more stories behind the world's most famous landmarks. Let me know in the comments what building you'd like to see us cover next. See you in the next one.